Welcome to Positive Philter with your host, Philip Wilkerson, a podcast that focuses on friends, family, health, and career with a little self-help around the way. Please join me in this journey for self-improvement, and I hope that what I have to share will make you a better person, thus making the world a better place. So I'm hitting record now, and I want to see how this sounds later when they send it back to me.
Oh, you're going to have it mastered up?
I want to see.
You're going to pay that little change?
Yeah. Little change. Hey, so I think I might not be able to go see Black Panther.
I would understand. I think you've got other things coming down the pipe.
Well, I already paid for my ticket for this like special like red carpet thing. But
I've seen a lot of attention been drawn to that red carpet event.
The one I sent you?
The one that you sent me.
Yeah, it's already sold out, which is shout out to my boy. But I don't know if I can make it, so I'm gonna have to be like,
you'll easily be able to pawn that off on somebody.
I don't know. I
because the guy that's doing Blerd Con, he's started promoting that as his event.
Oh, he cross promoted it?
Yeah, he cross promoted the one that you're going to.
Oh man, it's gonna be huge. Well, my homeboy, he knows me. He's my actual friend, so he said he'd give me my money back. I'm predicting, as Negrodamus is predicting, that Bennett, baby number 2 is coming way before
for
this.
Baby number 2? Or is there any?
Yeah, I just want to keep it. If we're going to use this, if we use this for the podcast, I want to keep it a secret for the listeners.
Can we talk about what goes into a name? We just need a topic.
Oh well, I thought we were going to talk about Black Panther, but
talk about Black Panther. I'm going to be short on information. I can tell you, it comes out. I can tell you, I've been looking on Amazon for some sort of dashiki like. I have tickets.
Oh, okay. Well, first of all, I got a dashiki. So let me see. I'll Amazon you the link of the one I got because I'm going to wear them with my Space Jams. They actually match in color. And 2, no, we could just, how hyped are we that we have like, it's almost like Luke Cage for the big screen, like a black superhero that's probably not going to be whack. So that's like something to look forward to.
It's an interesting conversation because, I got Jacondo here too, so he can chime in at any point too. It's an interesting conversation when you talk about blerds, when you talk about black nerds, and a lot of you guys are like Marvel comic book guys. But see, we've had Finn in the Star Wars universe for a long time, and Star Wars does like $280 billion. So we're cool. It's like we're welcoming you all to the money pit.
Oh, so you're saying like blerds by genre? Right. Okay.
No, we all got our special emphasis. And I'm not as qualified as you all are in the Marvel or DC. I'm like a one-trick pony. I know Star Wars.
And then, about do you dabble in anime too? Oh, I do too. I dabble in anime. I feel like I'm not a what's it called? Like not an expert in any field, kind of blerd. Like I kind of dabble in all of them. like randomly last night I was watching a Full Metal Alchemist. You ever watch that?
I was watching Star Wars,
and then then I can watch Star Wars.
What is it called? Chicken Robot.
Oh yes, that's funny. It's hilarious. Star Wars was,
Go ahead.
About, diversity. They had Lando back in the 70s, which was like he was a leading character. Well, not 70s, 80s, right? That's when the 80s. So that was pretty remarkable. But, I feel like in regards to the culture, Black Panther came out way before that. And he's like, in regards to like showing like an actual strong black figure in nerdom. He was out in the 70s or something.
He's been out for a good minute. And, true fans will just refer to him as T'Challa.
Yeah. King T'Challa, yeah, Wakanda. I have my uncle actually. My uncle blessed me with a bunch of like Black Panther comics way before, and Luke Cage ones too. They get all these comic books from the '80s, and like it's kind of cool to see. Like, I think the movies blew up Marvel, and then the movies blew up these individual characters. Like not the movies, but the movies in Netflix, because like Luke Cage and Black Panther have been around for a minute, but like it's cool to see them get like the mainstream attention that they're
according to
getting
the internet,
now.
Black Panther first appearance was in 1966.
Yeah. Something like Kirby. Let me go get my I'll be like, not say back in 2 seconds. I will be back in 2 seconds because I got my my nerd Bible.
I can refill my glass while you're
Is he recording?
Yeah, that's what
No. See,
but he's gone. He's
back already. Now we're talking about Black superhero. I think Black Panther and how much people have noticed that it is worth a lot of money. I don't know if you guys have watched or looked out for Black Lightning on CW, the Black superhero family. Yeah, and that's actually a pretty good one. I checked out like the first episode, but he's like a whole new genre now outside of that. And I was just driving here. They were talking about how Black Panther pre-sale tickets has already sold out, oversold any action superhero movie that's been out to date.
I mean, it's going to be top 5 Marvel movie, money-wise, grossing, easily top 5 Marvel grossing movie. And I saw that list that you posted, BJ, about like the grossing movies of all time with like Titanic and all that.
That was just the Oscar nominees for Best Picture. They came out with an article that said that the 5 or 6 Oscar nominees for Best Picture combined didn't equal Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
Mm.
Star Wars: The Last Jedi that came out last December.
Then it must have been someone else's post that they said that they showed like the top movies of all time, like that like top 10 list with Titanic and like Avatar and all that stuff, and Star Wars was in there, like the Force Awakenings was in that one. I don't think the
Star Wars.
But I don't know.
All
This is
movies
a bold
domestically, but
but
worldwide, I think Titanic is still the leader.
yeah, Titanic's number 1 of all time, I think. But point is, I think that Black Panther might creep
Top
in
20
top
for
20
sure.
grossing movies. Top 20 grossing movies domestically, for sure, 100%. That's easy. That probably is a low ball one, but I think that's.
So I was just while y'all talking about it, I had to pull it up just to see. So top 10 highest grossing movies not adjusted for inflation. Avatar's at number 1. Titanic's at number 2. The Force Awakens is at number 3. And not by much either. It's 2.78 billion, 2.18 billion, and
that's worldwide.
Billion. Yeah, that's worldwide.
And that's, I mean, when they say grossing, that's just the theaters, or that's like the
video. So if you look domestically,
Star Wars,
Avatar, Titanic. And look, Star Wars: Last Jedi is 6.
Still top 10.
Marvel's right there at number 5.
Rogue is not. Star Wars has 1, 2,
has
3.
11.
3 in the top 10.
8, 5, and 1.
So are we saying in the nerdum that Star Wars is superior? Is that what we're saying?
I'm just conversing with you gentlemen.
Hey, Star Wars overall as a what's the word I'm looking for? A series.
It's powerful.
It's top dog. It's top.
No, I mean, if we're gonna put America first, you know what I'm saying? If we make America great again, we can look at just the domestic, or we can look at worldwide. Or this one's interesting too. I don't know. Everybody seems to go to this one, the adjusted for
inflation, because all the different times. Which I think you should.
And if that's the case, they got Gone with the Wind as number 1.
Yeah, I saw that just now.
I mean, I appreciate this one because this is talking about actual like butts in the seats, like how many people saw the movie over. And the Marvel is.
Okay, so let's talk about as blerds. That if this episode's called the Blerd-Episode, what has Star Wars done for the culture?
You hit upon it right away. We talking about Lando Calrissian in 83, 82, 83.
Yeah, but lately they've also added.
It's been one of the most diverse franchises that's out there. I mean, you've got women characters, you've got featured minorities.
You got who was that Mexican? Was he Mexican? The Spanish.
Mexican.
I'm sorry.
You're talking about Cassian.
And
Rogue One, the
Did I limit him too much?
I think you did. I think you did.
Hey, edit that part out. I didn't need
it. Yeah. Okay, so I mean, I was thinking about that. And then Finn now. I mean, for sure. I mean, okay, when you were growing up as a kid, did you gravitate and say, okay, Lando was the man, or like
even though
cool of a character?
I wholeheartedly was a Lando fan from seeing him on Cloud City the first time. It was one of the things that hooked me in. I mean the robustness of the cast. I think there were a true representation of all kinds of people in all of the movie franchises. You have to, because they're going to different planets. They got to show different kind of looking people.
Right. But I would like to pause real quick, go back to what I said earlier. He is Mexican, so I was right. Keep part in there. I was right.
Diversity.
And BJ claims to be the Star Wars nerd.
I mean, I'm not. Look, he's talking about Diego Luna. I'm not tracing him back to what high school he went to. I'm not. Although we're putting America first, I'm not a birther. I mean,
we're talking about
sci-fi.
Diversity in the world of Star Wars.
Yep.
What have you done for the culture?
Yeah, in the world of sci-fi, honestly, in the big grand scheme of things, I think that sci-fi or science fiction has always been, or not always been, but it's probably one of the most diverse. Like, you really don't see. You see more pushing the envelope forward with diversity in cast and all that earlier in sci-fi than other things. And I guess they can just get away with it. Like, I think one of the first times they showed like interracial kiss
I was just
like
pulling it
Trek,
up. November 22nd, 1968. Yeah.
Right? Was it Star Trek?
Uhura.
Oh, dang. I really feel like a nerd. Yeah, so like so I'm actually surprised. I didn't
you sit here with BJ and fact checker. We gonna
make sure people are.
We gonna make sure
Yeah, there you go, fact. But point is, I think that was probably the only environment where they probably could do that, John. Right? Like on sci-fi. I don't know. Maybe just knowing the audience, knowing that maybe nerds are more accepting of people because they're bullied or something, so that they can show things that are different, like, super blatant racists are not watching Star Trek. I don't know the audience per se was that, but I think it does lend itself where this kind of movie, Black Panther, is going to get a probably bigger welcome. I think not only because it's strong Black characters, but it was, might I say, the presentation, right? It's a strong Black character that's a superhero,
But outside of that, even it's made a huge.
I think
it's made a huge shift in even just regular day world and advertising. And I'm gonna have to throw a little Target in there. But if you look at how they advertise a lot of action figures and just things towards kids, usually you don't see a lot of minority children being the main character in a commercial. But when Black Panther's out, now they made a big deal about it, but you have this boy that was the main character in this whole commercial, jumping around in his Black Panther toy gear. So I think that's also had an effect where it's not just for the culture, we're all going to go see this movie, but now you got other people being involved and having an opportunity to be displayed.
I totally agree, and I think that the opportunity, I think the point I was trying to make, which I totally agree with you, is I think that in regards to pushing diversity and racial envelopes, I think the route normally has gone through science fiction, right? Like more than like, I guess like a movie that's set in like, what was it, like a, not to say nonfiction, but yeah, nonfiction biography, not like, like a serious movie, right? Well, when it's like aliens and people in the clouds or superheroes, they got like, a Chinese samurai character with, an African king or something like that, and they're together fighting crime and stuff like that. It has like I don't know, I think it's easier to present that. I don't know, that's just my 2 cents. And I think that sci-fi and is usually the avenue. And then a lot of the stuff that's set in the future kind of sets this like, when they have like alien races and then human races, they just lump all humans together because at that point, like, black, white, other doesn't really matter. And then they got these like totally different alien races. So it doesn't matter if you're black, white, or other, because it's like all humans versus like Klingons.
If you watch Star Trek Discovery, they've got Klingons of all hue, and they you can tell that they have a color-based classism sect in the Klingons, because the dark ones are the ones that are supposed to be like the powerful ones. It's kind of interesting, Well, I think social commentary has always been a theme in sci-fi. I think kind of what you were saying, Phil.
Right.
And another show that's kind of cool is the Orville.
I haven't seen that in a while.
It's okay. It's well produced, but it does a lot of things that Star Trek used to do by challenging what's going on in society to make you think. So I'm gonna give you an example without giving away the whole, it's Star Trek like, but it's what's the dude's name? The comedian guy from Seth MacFarlane, the Family Guy. So it's the dude from a little awkwardly funny at times.
Seth MacFarlane.
So they had the first mate or the first officer on his ship is from a planet that is primarily a male-based society. So it's nothing but men, and men marry men, and so it's kind of homosocial. Mm-hmm. And so it's interesting because the first officer has a spouse, and it's crazy because they laid an egg, which was like puts you on your head in the first place, like, because the dude like had to like excuse himself from his post because he had to go sit on the egg for like 30 days while it incubated. And so, long story short, next episode, the egg hatches and they have a girl. And so the whole episode of this show is about everybody from this guy's planet wants to have the baby to have gender reassignment surgery. And none of the humans will allow it or think it's even, normal, acceptable. But everybody from the dude's planet is like, this is just what we do. If we have nothing but boys, and when we have a girl, we turn it into a boy. This is our culture. You can't tell us that that's strange. And you sit there mind blown a whole series, the whole arc, because you're like, I wouldn't do that.
Right.
Yeah, it is. I mean, so, and I think I would agree. Like, usually, what's the social commentary there? They're trying to bring up a bigger issue, but they present it through a sci-fi, goofy way, or a ridiculous way. But it has a meaning about like what gender roles and like telling parents what to do with their own children and things like that, or what's acceptable by different cultures. So, and I think that usually the message like they can present serious messages through comics or sci-fi. I don't know to say it's easily digestible or easy for people to comprehend, but it's just a different way of doing it.
It happens versus
fantasy.
Yeah, versus dealing with it. I don't know if either of you watch Black Mirror. Nobody? Nope. you gotta check out the
I
whole
watched some of it.
series.
I dipped it.
Everybody
dipped it
says
bad.
it's a new Outer Limits, or what's the other show that's like Outer Limits?
Uh,
Twilight Zone, which that's great, and nothing against
Twilight
it,
Zone.
but it always pushes that social commentary that we're talking about, and it shows things. It pushes things to extreme levels, but makes you think this stuff's happening in our society, and makes you just kind of think out loud to yourself a little bit and figure out how does this apply. I'll recommend some episodes you guys gotta see.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, because I watched the one about the my sister sent it, Nosedive, about the like how you base people's status based on their social media kind of thing, and the girl had points, and that kind of was like based on like how you try to live your life for points and social media likes and stuff. And yeah, you're right, like it was an eerie like Twilight Zone thing, but it was like, dang, that's pretty deep if you think about the concept of it, like fake relationships and just trying to like show out for people and things like that. And I mean, and I think that, I think that, kind of tying it back to like the Black Panther stuff is that I think that that's why this movie is going to have a big deal, is because, it's similar. Like you get two things out of it. You get entertainment, you get action, but it's probably going to say something bigger. There's a bigger construct or a bigger message coming through on the big screen through this fictional character,
have commentary,
right?
Or you think it's just going to be, a straight laced movie?
I definitely think there's. I mean, I want to watch it, and obviously there's going to be like the villain and some Marvel thing, and then like taking over the world kind of plot, some generic plot like that. But I think there is going to be some kind of something.
I don't think you have to even watch it really to think. To see that there is going to be commentary around the simple fact that you have this nation, and really it's just going to all of Africa, that has Black people and Africans as kings and queens and the most intelligent people in the world. Which, if we talk about Black History Month, we're already in February. We'll always want to trace back our roots and talk about how history for Black people didn't start with slavery. It goes back a little bit further when we were kings and queens and the most intelligent people in the world that are coming up with a lot of different things that we use now, including, math, science, medicine. So I think before you even have to watch, it, you already know that's a theme across the board. And then you watch the movie house, and I'm sure you'll find some more in there.
For sure. 100%. And, and I think the writers, when they made it, talking about how the countries, it was a big deal. I just looked it up. Like Black Panther's first appearance was 1966 in I think it's a Fantastic Four comic book. But think about how revolutionary that was to have this guy, a character that Stan Lee and the other dude developed. That when you look at T'Challa, like he's actually one of the smartest guys in Marvel. He's also he has like all the technology. He's one of the richest. He's like probably one of the like coolest characters. And they developed that in 1966.
And the most intelligent. And then his IQ is the highest out of all the superheroes. I think it's like the.
I think they still give the edge.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Did they really? I know. I've been reading.
Yeah, they did like a top. They did like a top 5, and it was like in Marvel Universe wise. Marvel Universe, like he's in the top 5, but they still give like Victor Von Doom, Reed Richards, him, and Tony Stark up there. But like you said, don't sleep on him. He's still like top 5. Yeah, they couldn't give him everything. They can't make him like Superman, have everything.
Right. Now we're talking about a lot of Black superheroes.
It wouldn't be fair to all the other characters.
No, I was just one thing is we're talking a lot about Black Panther, but we didn't give our nod to Blade, because we got to be truthful, we talk about comic books moving into movies. Blade
was the first
and Marvel. Yeah,
Blade
was
superhero
awesome,
movie, exactly, be R-rated, which really pushed the envelope and had other movies. I know Batman's DC, but movies like Dark Knight can come out and actually have a true feel for what those superheroes actually were in the comic books versus the PG-13 and PG that we saw. And Blade was the real start. Like everybody talks about Iron Man.
True.
Blade was the real start to the new age.
When you say Marvel popped off, yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely Blade was pre Iron Man before that Marvel Universe stuff, and Blade was probably one of the earlier Marvel movies that didn't suck. You know, not like the Daredevils and Elektras and all that stuff. So yeah, shout out to Blade.
The first Daredevil was horrible.
But
I can't.
Oh, it was garbage.
If I think about it,
Blade held its own.
I think Blade was a position on Nino. I don't think it was purposeful to launch a series. I think Demolition Man, he had so many hit movies. It was just the next thing.
Right.
I mean, it catapulted. It's just, I think it's a stretch.
A stretch for
to think that like there might not have been an Iron Man without a
no, it's definitely not that there might not have been, but it opens your eyes to say, this is an actual possibility where we can have a whole world of superhero movies. Because even after that, DC had a whole bunch of movies come out and it just wasn't as successful. But then Iron Man comes out and it's like, okay, so now we can ramp up. But I think the success of Blade, outside of Blade 3, you could say like, hey, that started something. I got somebody out there thinking, hey, we can actually capitalize on superhero movies that can be R-rated.
That's true.
I would give hearing the arguments, I would give that to Jay, but I think also Blade was like just like you're right, like a comic book movie that didn't suck. Because I mean, we had there's other comic book movies before that or after that weren't in both of those units, like DC and Marvel. And Blade was pretty. I mean, the first Blade was legit. That was actually a really good movie. People liked it.
I thought Blade helped out Ryan Reynolds' career because it was the first time he was actually an action and funny at the same time without being like campy.
But Ryan Reynolds showed up in what, Blade
3, the one that you hate,
the one that was horrible. I think Ryan Reynolds hopping into his horrible role in Green Lantern.
See, that was a setback.
Trash.
That was a setback.
But even his rendition of Deadpool and Wolverine, that was trash. It wasn't until the third time around that he got a superhero role, Deadpool done right. And it kind of makes me wonder how this whole Fox thing being bought out
by Disney,
how that's going to affect Deadpool. But that's a tangent. That's a tangent. Yeah.
Tangent episode.
But I think for the culture, I think Black Panther is going to be in the top 10. I think that coming around to it, Blade was a forerunner, and actually if we're going to talk about black superheroes, Blade was like the man. But it took a long time to get there. I mean, because there was also black superhero movies that were actual trash. Like one, Spawn was trash. Steel was trash. I can't think of another one.
So you consider
I mean, I like Meteor
movies
Man,
of
but if you
past,
think of it as a
those
superhero movie,
superheroes,
that
or is
was
that just
not
that's a different
good
genre? Okay,
that's a different genre. Well, I mean, what black karate one are you thinking
I'm
about?
just talking about the classics.
I mean,
just thinking
martial
back,
arts. What are you thinking about?
what influenced society more so than the actual characters? Oh yeah.
Oh, and you talking about like black heroines, like black heroes? I mean, there are some good ones, right? Like,
Yeah.
you think of like Jim Kelly and all those karate movies that he's in. And then you think, dang, I'm looking at the top 15, top 25 worst comic book movies, and they put Steel at number 5.
Oh,
Oh, and Catwoman, she
The
was
Halle
black.
Berry one,
yeah.
She's number 4.
unfortunately, it was trash.
That
It
was
was trash. Is Doom on there? Did that count? Or is that a video game conversion? Where does The Rock fit into this?
That's a video game one. No, he doesn't. Oh, they put that. No, not the new Fantastic Four.
They
That
haven't
was
done
on
one
there.
Fantastic Four right, to be honest
Trash.
with you.
I like the first set.
But see, hey, have you noticed too? This is
Yes,
this is
because
Michael
he
B.
also
Jordan's
failed in
redemption
Fantastic
movie
Four.
for comic books.
just yeah. I'm glad there's a lot of reboots coming out for these, especially the Spider-Man.
So-
Spider-Man's, I think, the most reboots I've ever seen in my life. It had like 4 or 5 reboots, it seemed like. But I think this Spider-Man tied into the universe has finally actually been done right.
I like the Spider-Man.
Homecoming.
Yeah.
Honestly, just like they finally got Wolverine right with this last movie.
With Logan.
Logan is who Wolverine, the character,
Logan?
the man, is actually supposed to be like. I think X-Men
Well,
still
they
give
gave
him a
that
little
R
bit of
rating.
edge,
That's why.
but it still wasn't. He was lacking that human side a little bit that we saw in Logan, but at the same time, still this animal. They didn't flip him back and forth right, in my opinion. I'm a huge X-Men fan.
I hear you.
No.
Well, I would want to remind you guys, though, it's great, and I hope.
I think
I'm hopeful for Black Panther in the opening. Just remind you, the projection is about an opening weekend of 130 to 150 million. Star Wars is opening up at 220. Okay,
Right.
just remember, whether you're a mutant or you're born with money in Africa or you got a special power or any of this kind of stuff, your superheroes are still on one level, and this intergalactic battle of the light versus the dark is still transcending all categories of movies.
Hey, he's mic dropping. He's mic dropping on the blerdom.
Mace Windu and all, okay? But
Oh Lord. Well, I mean, that's it. So Positive Filter listeners, you listen to episode. Do you have any social media you want to give out, BJ?
I'm
Any shout
always
outs that you want to give out?
lifting
Especially
up, just
to your
like,
troop or
we can
whatever?
go Greek, lifting up the Qs. Me and Jay over here representing Omega Psi Phi, 20 years from 1998 to 2018. I'm striving still.
Grandpa over here.
Grandpa,
I'm
old.
only at 8 years in the game. 8 years in the game.
But on my blerd groove, definitely lifting up
Dang, I'm still.
all my Star Wars fans out there. I'm a member of the 501st Garrison Tyrannus, which is a community service organization filled with people who love Star Wars, and our aim is to, one, build screen-like replicas of costumes, and then take them costumes and do something positive in the community, like help out the Boy Scouts or go visit sick kids in hospitals, or show in parades, or help with movie openings, just to enhance the fans' experience with Star Wars. And I always want to encourage people, all the blerds out there, to consider going to BlerdCon, which is a convention this summer for the underrepresented populations in sci-fi comic fandom. And so that's, you can look it up at blerdcon.com. It's July 27th through the 29th at the Hyatt Regency Crystal City. You can come out and, dress up as your favorite character. You can meet Hip Hop Trooper. You can, it's kind of like Comic-Con, but it's here in our area, and it's dedicated to Blacks, Asians, GLBT, all the people that love and adore fandom and sci-fi and comic books. but maybe not get as much FaceTime as everybody else. Jay?
For all the blerds out there,
For sure.
I gotta give a nod out. If you want your basic blerd gear, action figures, any basic needs, you can always visit your local Target.
Which I have done.
There's always something going on at Target. And
Target
shout
does
out
the
to
toys releases.
To the 501st, because they have stopped by a few times, dressed, ready to go, impressing the fans and the crowd. Nod to BJ and his brigade. Garrison. For making sure they come out. But that's all I have for the blerds out there.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much for doing this episode. And I appreciate both of you guys. We're going to have to probably do this again sometime. Maybe a post reaction to Black Panther after we all see it.
We'll
mine
go
might
down
be
the
this summer
barbershop
when I
and
get
get
the
a few
time to
bootlegs
see
so you can see
it.
it.
If I can't
As soon as
go to this
possible.
premiere. Oh, sweet. Like, I'll still support it with some kind of ticket sale, but I'm not above a bootleg either. But thank you so much for being on the podcast.
All right.
I appreciate you. I love you, brothers. And over and out. Thank you for listening to Positive Philter, a podcast that focuses on family, friends, career, with a little self-help along the way. If you enjoyed this podcast, please share it with your family and friends, and like the Facebook page, Spreading Positivity of Movement. Thanks for listening.